Hi, this is Simple Guy once again coming to you live from my home. Today's topic that I want to discuss with you all is language. Language is something that we all use every single day, and the most common language that people speak nowadays, I think, is English. After English, I think the second most common language that people speak is French, and then after that, I think it's Spanish. Um, of course, if you look at different countries around the world, they speak different languages. Like in Indonesia, people speak different language. People in Russia, India, Japan, Korea, France, they all speak their own languages, and in within one country, there are different dialects. Like in India, there are many dialects. In Indonesia, uh, within a country, there are many languages. But I think the most common language that people speak is English when they want to communicate with somebody from another country, somebody that is not part of their society, or somebody that they're not familiar with. So I think for over a century now, people have been speaking English worldwide. A lot of products that we buy, the instruction comes in English and other languages as well. But let, let us talk a little bit about language in the sense that excuse me, has anybody ever uh, found out where uh, the origins of language, the origins of alphabets, words, sentences? We do have texts dating back 3,000, maybe 5,000 years ago, ancient texts in a few of our cultures here, a few of our what is the word? Societies that once lived, let's say, for example, the Indians, Egyptians, the Greeks, the Chinese, they have ancient text. But the idea is that the question that I'm asking is that from primates till we became humans, how did language evolved, and when did it evolve? Where did it evolve? I thought to go into the internet, and I thought I would get some answers, but shockingly, this is what I found, and I would like to share with everybody. Apparently, there is lack of evidence as to where language originated and the period when it originated. The scholars have taken data from archaeologists, but still the evidence is inconclusive. Linguistic, archaeologist, psychologist, anthropologist, and others have attempted, and they find that this is the hardest problem to solve in science. Can you imagine something that we do every day, something which we cannot live without? Um, we can figure out a particular time frame when it was developed, how it was developed, and we take it so granted. We take this so granted, thinking that if I do a research, maybe I will find out. But apparently, it's very difficult for them to come to a certain period in our evolution. When did language come into our society? Um, Having said that, there are drawings in caves which suggest that the cavemen, when they would go out in the mornings, whatever they would experience, whatever they would see, they would come back into their caves and then draw whatever they saw, and that is how they would express exactly what they saw, maybe an animal or a tree or a mountain or a waterfall. It would be drawn over there. Maybe that is the origin of it. They would speak certain voices would come out to explain perhaps that. Um, the Egyptians used to use symbols in their text, and those people who could read it would understand what it meant. When you see the symbols in the Egyptians' tomb or what, those people who have learned it could figure out. So I guess initially it was symbols which meant something, and from there the words started coming instead of symbols. So this is something which I have found out on the internet. But in addition to that, there are people who are deaf and mute. They have created their own language, sign language, which is fantastic because that's how they communicate on a daily basis. Computers have their own language, as they say, computer language. So language is something that it is around us. We cannot live without it. We need to communicate. But what's again interesting that I must emphasize, we cannot find the origin of it. When did the first language, or when was the word spoken, or whatever it is? Another interesting thing that I found, the term mother tongue somehow came into existence, how a mother would speak to the offspring, um, how the mother would communicate with its offspring. That became the term used as mother tongue. But in today's day and age, people speak more than one language, two, three. I speak at least three languages. Yeah, I speak only three odd languages, and it's it's very how should I say, thought-provoking uh, topic as to how we speak the respective languages today. And if you look at the ancient times, the very thousands of years ago, how was the communication at that time? How did people communicate with each other? And how did those voices become words, and those words became, or maybe it became symbols first, then words became sentences, and so forth. I'd like to hear from you guys if at all anybody has got some feedback or some idea or some suggestions. But so far, whatever I have found on the internet, this is what I would like to share. Uh, I think we all started with some. We all started with a culture of making symbols, and that symbols had meaning. From that, after the symbols became too many, it became too complicated. Those symbols had a voice. People would voice those symbols, and from that, I think it became into words. Um, Maybe that's how it is. I guess I don't know. But again, if anybody has something to share, I'd be very interested to know, to learn. Um, it's very strange. I thought this topic was something easy for me to find out on the internet. I would find I would I would just get enough information, but apparently that's not the case. Hmm. Well, anyway, if you guys have anything to share, again, I would love to hear from you all. And what else is there? There's a lot to discuss when it comes to language. There's a term called body language as well. Without a when a person speaks something, but when his body language says something else, it means something else. Mm, there is also that comes in experience. I think the more you meet people, the more you interact with people, what they say and what actions they that follows sometimes is totally different. That's why some people say that his body language was different from what he spoke. That's also another way of interpreting another person when you're sitting again across another person and you want to understand what he or she is trying to convey. Um, Today's day and age, everybody has mobile phones. Obviously, through mobile phones, there is communication uh, over the texting or over the phone calls. But then again, nobody has ever thought to find out when was this language ever spoken. So, isn't that ironic or isn't that strange? Anyway, that's all from me, and I'll see you again in the next video. Thank you and bye.